Welcome to VMUG and to the Device42 demo. Now, Device42 is a discovery platform which will grab everything within your IT estate. Obviously, we'll grab the hypervisor information in your VMs, which I know you're using because you're at this event, but we'll also grab the hardware components, we can grab the networking components, we can even scan the storage arrays and see how they're mapped within your environment. We can do warranty syncs on a lot of the hardware we find to find the warranty status, even doing things like grabbing all your certificates in your environment and bringing that into the CMDB. An often overlooked piece of your configuration is actually your mobile devices. We integrate in with your MDM solutions to bring that in as well to make sure they're represented in your decision making. So let's take a look at what information we capture on a device. Device42 will grab information about this VM. What's the host name? What's the host it's running on? Grab the VMware serial number, the UUID. We'll grab the information you expect us to grab, the CPU, the memory, the disk, the network information like the MAC address and the different subnets. But what makes Device42 special is it will also grab all the service communication to and from these different devices, whether that's a VM or a physical asset. But then we'll also hit the package manager, find out all the installed software on these devices, and we will start to organically create these business services, these applications, so to speak. We'll also grab the resource utilization. The reason this is important is especially if you're talking optimization within your VM environment, finding out how your resources are actually being used will help you make those decisions. Let's take a look at an affinity group. This is something that we use to track those dependencies, and you're going to get something like this created for you, where we have this app focus at the data layer. We have that MySQL machine, which was running MySQL, so obviously that's probably our database backend. We've got this Tomcat server, which is probably our middleware, and then Apache, which is probably our web front end. And then along that, we've identified kind of these end users of that. And we've shown the different protocols being used. We also show a time series on these relationships. So how is this looking within our environment? There is clearly a big change in between here. So if we wanted to, we could take a look at the details and find out what changed between those two. Let's take a look at some of the information that can be gathered just within 7 days and see if this kind of information would help you make decisions in your environment. So here in the 7-day discovery, we found 1,800 devices. We found that 283 had insecure ports. So maybe that's port 22 open to the public internet. We found that we had some expired certs. A lot of our machines are cryptographically weak. If we hop into our device overview, we see that 54% of the devices in my environment never peaked above 10% CPU utilization. So all they're really accomplishing is taking energy and converting it into hot air. Which is not particularly useful. If I wanted to take a look across all my virtualization layer, I could see the CPU, the RAM, subscription by host. Lastly, let's take a look at our VMware usage. So grabbing information about my different CPU subscriptions, my RAM subscriptions, seeing my physical cores versus what's subscribed against that, even identifying things like inactive VMs. I could take a look at all the dependencies of these VMs within my environment, who's listening to them on the network, which storage arrays are they mapping to, even what software is installed on each of these machines. That way, if I want to look at the resource utilization, maybe I want to make some changes in my environment and kind of right size that licensing. Here I have the 1,000 cores that were originally provisioned. If I were to sunset anything that never went above 10% CPU utilization, that drops me down to 940. If I were to right size, so if I had given it 8 cores that never used more than 2, that drops me down to 978. And if I were to accomplish both of those workflows, that kind of right sizes my licensing at 901. So that's just a way that some of this information could help you drive your operations, even on the VM side of things.